Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
This is Questions Coffee Cars 221. How do you get questions in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. On Sunday, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
I live in Ontario and own a 2023 Civic hatchback. I've been looking at a hybrid, plug-in hybrid SUV with a good all-wheel drive system. Been seeing videos on the 2025 Outlander plug-in hybrid. Is it actually a reliable value for money to buy? I was only looking at Toyota and Honda so far, but the Outlander offers much more value for the money.
Absolutely, it does. We're fans of the Outlander. If you're not in a rush, in the new year, they're going to introduce a 2026 Outlander. It's going to have more range. It's also going to have the bigger stereo. Who did the stereo again? Yamaha. The sound system is really good.
So good.
And they have updated the interior. We went on the drive event last year for the gas model, and we're very impressed with the ride quality and quietness of just the gas one.
I know.
And the PHEV is, other than the RAV4 Prime, it has the next best range, right?
Range, yeah, and they're going to add more range for the next year. We should be able to drive it at the beginning of 2026. That's the last time we heard. There was only one issue with the Outlander plug-in hybrid in very cold temperatures, that the 12-volt battery was dying and people couldn't start their vehicle and they just couldn't get it going. So that was very frustrating to them. Mitsubishi did do a software update on it, but the weather the next year never got super cold.
Yeah,
It was pretty good winter last year.
Yeah, if you're in Ontario, you know last winter was kind of like a non-event. So this year, if it's cold, and I'm the weather nerd, and it's apparently going to be a cold one, buckle up.
Great.
Get the old down jacket out. It's supposed to be cold, so it's going to be a good test if this software update did anything. And there's a new one coming. My strong belief is that you can either get a good deal on a 25 as they're selling down inventory before the 26 arrives, or you can just wait and get the newest and the latest. If you can afford the newest and the latest, it does offer more, and the stereo alone is worth it.
And just make sure that you have a Mitsubishi dealership in your area. Don't travel miles and miles. If you have an issue with the vehicle, just make sure you have one in your area before you purchase it.
We talked about this recently on another Questions, Coffee and Cars, and someone came back with some stats, and they said that so in the United States, Mitsubishi isn't really a thing. It's very sporadic because the dealer base is so much smaller. In Canada, Mitsubishi has been growing. In 2024, they grew, I think it was 9% in 1 year. A lot of that is on the back of the Outlander PHEV. It's been very successful. And the actual number of cars sold was about 30-40% of what the U.S. sales were.
Yeah.
And that population, as you know, in the U.S. is 10 times larger. So Canada buys Mitsubishis in a much higher percentage than the U.S.
And you'll find that our U.S. viewers will chime in and say, oh, the dealership experience there is terrible. There's not enough dealerships. Well, yes, and that's one of the reasons why the sales aren't as good in the U.S. versus Canada. For retired parents in Newfoundland, 2022 Lexus RX V6, new Crown Signia or Buick Envision, space, comfort, refinement, and reliability are the priorities.
Which one's the Envision again? Envision's the compact, right?
Yeah. And we like the Envision.
Yeah, we like the Envision.
Quite good.
It's interesting, you know, you would just think, okay, automatically it's going to be Lexus, Toyota, and Buick. Well, no one's going to want one of those. But Buick's quality scores, not just 1 year, not just 2 years, year after year after year, are near the top of the industry. So yes, try the Buick. We like it. What was the bigger one called again?
Enclave.
Enclave.
The Envision,
I can never remember all the Buicks.
The Envision is super comfortable.
Yeah.
It has a really smooth ride. Definitely tuned for
Okay,
comfort. I just want to
I just want to take you back about the comfort thing to Newfoundland and remember the roads.
Yeah.
And how rotten some of the roads are.
I do.
And the thing is, with the Crown, you've got big wheels and tires.
Yeah. And
So-
it gets a little bit louder.
Yeah, okay. What were you going to say?
Okay, so Consumer Reports gave the Envision an overall score of 73 out of 100, which is good. But reliability was not the best score, 51 out of 100. Now, when I went on, I was like, really?
JD Power gives it way higher score.
Yeah, but I went on Facebook forums, and one of the things that's driving it is the infotainment system. It seems to have problems. It's glitchy, it shuts down, and also the head-up display. Some people have had to have their head-up display also replaced. So that can be driving it, but mechanically, it seems pretty sound. I did not see any complaints about it mechanically. I get it if you have a problem, it's a pain going to the dealership.
I would hope, though, that, those were the initial, because the car's been out now for 2 years, this current model. And so, yes, you would hope that they will have worked that out. And that head unit is shared across many General Motors vehicles. Do you have any JD Power there or no?
No JD Power, but I also want to add that the Crown Signia from Consumer Reports gets a great reliability score. And then that's an older RX, the V6. It's a little bit boring to drive. I find that the technology in it is definitely outdated. It's not my favorite, but it is reliable and it is tuned for comfort, which your parents may like.
So the Crown comes with large wheels and tires. And we asked about this because we don't get the XLE trim in Canada. For the Crown Signia, we only get the top limited trim, right? It's the limited. And so you can order XLE wheels from the Crown sedan. The XLE smaller 19-inch wheel or maybe 18-inch wheel on the sedan bolts right onto the Crown Signia. So if you want to go with a smaller wheel with a larger tire to give you more comfort on those bumpy Newfoundland roads, that one would be the ticket. But I'm just putting myself in the seat driving, not on Highway 1 because that's beautiful and smooth. It's when you get on those secondary roads, when you're going to Dildo.
We didn't stop in Dildo last time we were there, but we definitely saw the sign. And I actually think I took a picture with the sign.
We took a picture with Dildo,
Yeah.
So if you don't know, Dildo is a town in Newfoundland. And there's another one called...
It's super cute because somebody went
They have
to
the brew
Dildo.
pub. They said go to the brew pub,
Yeah,
and
they
the
said
burgers
it,
are good.
yeah.
And then there's Come By Chance. That's another one. These are real towns in Newfoundland. But if you're going off the beaten path, and then we went to Wrexham. Was it Wrexham? Wrexham? Anyway, we had a great...
Wrexham?
Yeah, anyway, we had a great time. But the roads are hardcore, man. Like, you need a vehicle that's got a good suspension. And I would actually lean into the Buick.
Yeah, the Buick is good. I'm not sure I can handle the V6 RX.
Don't love that one.
The interior.
No.
So
That's
I
kinda
think I
old.
would definitely I would try Envision myself.
Give it a shot.
I think it's a good one. We were impressed, like I said, with how smooth it is, and it was fairly quiet. What do you think about the taillights of the Corolla Cross? Just two small red dots on each side. Looks kind of unsafe, similar to the current RAV4's brake lights. Design failure or simple cost cutting? Well, from what I see, you are right. They are wee, but it's on the L and LE models. The XLE models get bigger lights.
Just so you know, all of this is regulated.
Yeah.
Daytime running lights have to have a certain amount of lumens or luminance, and same thing with the tail lights. You know what drives me crazy? So if you don't like that, don't buy that car. Buy something with big tail lights. You know those, I used to live in London, Ontario, and my family is in Toronto, and I've driven the 401 hundreds and hundreds of times. And in the middle of nowhere, there is obviously no lights, but it is the biggest trucking route in North America. More trucks go down the 401 to Windsor and Detroit than anywhere in North America. Look it up, it's a real thing. But I can't tell you, one of my pet peeves about the trucking industry, got this big 18-wheeler, and they have these tiny little round lights, like the ones you're talking about, at the bottom. That's it. Like, you would think, because that's obviously the bare minimum for the regulations, they should have a big bar with lights. Obviously, they worry about backing into docks and smashing them, but those huge trucks, tiny little lights. So I think you could get by with a Corolla Cross.
Some people say that they do get flashed by other drivers because they, I
No,
guess, feel like their lights aren't on yet.
No, that's the big problem with Toyotas. The daytime running lights, the dash lights up. So you don't know your headlights are on. Remember we
True.
talked about this so many
did,
times?
yeah.
The number one culprit was Toyota. People driving with their headlights off because the dashboard lights up, but there's no rear lights. That's why they're flashing you.
Right. Well, anyway, they think it has to do with the small lights.
No.
Now, here's something interesting. In the U.S., many people do buy the base model, like a stripped down. That's what the research shows. In Canada, more go for the higher trims. They want the extra features. So we were talking about this morning. There aren't a lot of Corolla Crosses around here. And if they are the higher trim. So I never have noticed the lights that you're mentioning. But in the U.S., there's a petition going saying
Yes, but
that Toyota for the L and LE models should add the same lights.
Yes, but they're meeting
that the XLE has.
Guarantee you they're meeting their requirements.
Of course.
They're meeting the base requirement.
Of
So that's
course.
whatever the regulation is, they're meeting it.
And the difference is, because I did go online and look at the Canadian site because I was curious, is it different than the US? And it says that the LE and LE models have LED rear combination lamps and the XLE premium LED rear XLE model has premium LED rear combination lamps. So there obviously is a slight difference. So there you go. There you have it. But
Don't buy that car. If people write to us and say, "Oh, I can't believe that this car's got a CVT," and I'm like, "Well, don't buy it. If you don't like that, then get something else."
I don't think he's getting it. I think he's just commenting on that they're small. Do you guys agree? Yeah, I saw it. I looked, and they are small. I agree, but they're all regulated. Hyundai says the new hybrid Palisade will have 329 horsepower. Is that the horsepower it will have only while in EV mode? Will it drop down to the 258 horsepower that the turbocharged 2.5 liter motor puts out when it's not in EV mode? Seems like it would be a bit sluggish on the highway if that is the case. Well, first off, the Hyundai Palisade is a hybrid. It's not a plug-in hybrid, and that's a combined 329 horsepower, but you can't drive that in pure EV mode unless you are driving in a parking lot
At
or
very
an
low speed.
underground garage at very low speed.
Yeah, so you're thinking that it's a hybrid, it's gas and it's electric. It doesn't work that way with a conventional hybrid.
No.
And the way that their system works is it has a electric motor sandwiched within the transmission, and so it's always ready to go. And the batteries never fully deplete with a hybrid. They're kept in this sort of like perfect zone of charged and discharged. So when you're on the highway and you put your foot into it, it still has some juice left to give you that torque. And that's one of the beauties of hybrids is that it's a no compromise. Plug-ins are different though.
They are.
We had a question recently about the Cayenne
E-hybrid.
E-hybrid. And my biggest complaint with the early iterations of that is they gave this big number. It was like 460 horsepower or whatever it was. But that's not the way it drove. You drove on the electric motor, which was 100 and something horsepower. And then when you wanted all of the horsepower, you had to put your foot into it, wake up the gas engine, 1,000, 2,000, woof. That wasn't good. It was not well calibrated.
We're getting the new one, so that'll be
In a couple of
interesting
weeks,
to see
yeah.
the difference. So like I said, a combined 329 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque. That is more so what you're going to be using. I did break down the gas engine for you so you have a better idea. 287 horsepower at 5,800 RPM and 260 pound-feet of torque at 5,000 RPM. By the way, they've released fuel economy numbers for that.
This is official.
These are official on the site.
Oh, by the way, just before you go on, when we come back from
Yeah.
our trip, we're going to drive it soon, the next few weeks.
8.3 liters per 100 kilometers in the city,
That's pretty good.
28 miles per gallon, and 7.9 on the highway, 30 miles per gallon.
For that big SUV?
Yeah.
It's not Grand Highlander efficient.
Remember they said it was going to have a combined amount of the Grand Highlander 2.5 liter hybrid.
no way.
And Zach and I were like,
No.
Anyway, it doesn't.
Or maybe they should have said a hybrid max. Either way, it's way more efficient than if you were just running a V6.
Yeah.
And you're getting obviously good power. We'll drive it and we'll tell you if there's lag or responsiveness issues. We'll tell you.
I can't wait to drive it. Do we think anything like the Mazda 5 will come back? I like the sliding doors on the smaller vehicle. Boy, that was a great vehicle. One of Charlie's friends, mom, when they were about 8 years old, had one. She had 3 kids, and Charlie would go along to different things. And how convenient was that car?
I can clearly remember when they killed the Mazda 5. They killed it, and I'll tell you why. So the Mazda 5 was the Mazda 3 platform, and then they built out a boxier top hat on it with 3 rows of seats, and it was perfect for exactly what Andrea is mentioning. For little kids, take them to events, you had the 3 rows of seats and seat belts. I was at an event, they had the launch event here in Vancouver, and Greg Young was the PR guy, and it was held up at, up at the park there? Queen Elizabeth Park. And they showed it, and I'm like, oh my God, that is so ugly. What they
It is ugly.
No, but what they did was they put these waves down the side of the body.
Oh, yeah.
And
Can't remember.
that killed the car. Nobody bought it after that. So if you don't know, I'll put a picture up, but they had this wave sort of feature down the side. That car, that Mazda 5 in Canada sold incredibly well. It sold incredibly well. They brought out the wavy model, killed it. Killed it.
That's too bad. Anyway, she had a white one, and I always thought it was a quirky looking vehicle, but when the boys all got in it and they had the sliding doors and it was so easy to get in that 3rd row, they just zipped in. I was thinking to myself, what a great idea.
Yeah, a tiny subcompact minivan. That's
I
basically
know.
what it was.
Smart idea. Too bad it didn't last. Anyway, I doubt it's coming back. I would be surprised.
I've been saying this for years. I would love to see a mid-size SUV. Pick a Grand Highlander, something like that,
Yeah.
right? And it can be hidden so it doesn't look like a minivan.
Yeah.
So what you do is you have the rails that go down the side hidden where the windows are. So you have an SUV look, but the back doors go like this.
I think he tried to do it with Carnival.
No,
You
that's a
know?
real minivan.
I know,
I'm talking
but
about.
they're trying to make it look rugged.
No,
they
I
call
understand.
it their adventure vehicle.
Yeah, I get it. But a real utility vehicle, without doors going like this, they just go like that. And
Easy to get in and out.
nobody has done that. I just think there is a market. I think there's a market for that. You don't have kids with the doors swinging out. It's easy to tumble everybody in and out. I think it would be a hit. And they
be
should
a
call
hit.
it the Tofino.
I know, I knew you were going to say that. Toyota Tofino. So it's going to be, I actually think you could go smaller. You could go like Highlander size, not Grand Highlander, and put the sliding doors on. And yes, call it Toyota Tofino.
So we were with the Toyota executives, and I brought this up about how we did a questions, coffee, and cars, and I said, we should have a new Toyota. It's got to be Toyota because it starts with T, called Tofino, a Toyota Tofino.
I said it's got to be a pickup truck,
Yeah,
a small pickup truck like the Maverick,
So,
hybrid.
so we joked with Scott McKenzie, and I said, "Oh, we're going to Japan for the mobility show. Is that where they're showing the Toyota Tofino?" And he just started laughing. He goes, "Well, you're going to have to wait and see."
Well, I have to say, when we were telling them, another executive, Romerick, said, how do you know there isn't one already in the pipeline called Toyota Tofino?
By the way, there was a small little car company here called Electromechanica, and they had a terrible idea, which was a 1-seat little electric car called Solo. The name is, right?
Well, the name describes
The name
it.
described it. But I think they had one, I think they came up with a car called Tofino. But
Somebody chimed in and said there is one.
Yes, but I think, listen, that company's not going anywhere. So I think they could get the name from them. Toyota's got the money.
We also mentioned it to Hyundai, and they liked it as well. But it just sounds better, TT.
Toyota Tofino.
I would like
you've
to
got
hear-
Tundra, Tacoma, Tofino.
Yeah.
One more, Andrea.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on buying a car online, such as Clutch. Do you think you get a better deal, or is it better going through a dealer?
I think you got to run the numbers
Yeah.
and look at the market. I mean, there's a compelling story for the ease of just, doing everything online and them delivering the car. I like to kick the tires and have a look myself. When we bought the Bolt, the dealership, we were out at Ocean Park Ford out in White Rock, and we live in the city. So it was a bit of a hike to get out there and back, but it was worth it because I wanted to see the car. I wanted to drive the car. I wanted to see if, how it was.
And no pressure if you didn't want to take it.
Yeah. So I understand this online model. I'm just the kind, I'm not going. Andrea buys more clothes online than me because the lines and the sizing.
If
For
I
me,
know the brand,
I got to go in
then
and I got to
yes.
feel it and touch it and try it on. That's the way I roll.
I know if I know I have something already and I just want a different color, then I'm happy to
different.
do that. Shoes, never. Unless I know my size. Once again, you buy a pair of shoes, you know your size, it's the exact same shoe, just a different color. So when
Fashion
I went,
tips with Drea.
Fashion tips. I love fashion. You just know it. So for example, people who have been or have dealt with Clutch on Facebook forums say it's a great experience, but after the fact, it's no different than the dealership experience. Like, they didn't find that the service was exceptional after the fact. From what I see online is that the vehicle can be delivered to you, but you have to start the whole process with exchanging of money prior to it. Now, you can go and you can look at the vehicle. They'll show you any sort of damage and you can take it for a test drive.
You can do that. Okay.
Yeah, but they say that you've already started the process of exchanging money.
Yeah, but unless you actually take delivery of the car, you're not paying for it.
Then you have a 10-day window to get it checked as well. In another scenario, if you just get it delivered to you, you've got a 10-day window to get it checked, to drive it, and you can give it back if you didn't like it.
There you go.
So there you go. I don't know. I think I would probably just go to the dealership.
All right, that's it for this Questions, Coffee, and Cars. This one was a particularly good one, hon. We went off the rails a little.
As we do.
But we brought it back, and we're still pushing for Toyota Tofino. We'll find out in Japan whether maybe if we go to Akio himself. Mr. Toyota, what do you think?
No, he could be there. I took a picture at the last mobility show with a top executive from Lexus.
There you go.
At the time.
So how do you get a question in?
Well, you got to follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. I put a post out on Sundays asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show. Now, while we're in Japan, I'm actually not going to post, but I will post again once we get back from Japan.
All right. Have a good trip. That's us. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching.